What up, Profilators? Welcome back to my channel. Here we are on Epping Avenue, heading over to Barima Avenue in Bel Air Park. And what we're doing today is doubling back, in fact, to see how this neighborhood is changing. I think this is a reserved land. It was reserved for a park. Right, it's reserved for a park here in Bel Air. Hasn't been developed, but I think there are signs that they're going to start working on it. Right, I see they've rebuilt this bridge. Last time I was here, this bridge did not exist. But that's Epping Avenue. We're heading over to Bel Air. Morning. So all around you can see construction, reconstruction, renovation of this neighborhood. Right, it's already one of the more exclusive residential neighborhoods in the city, and this one, for example, this tiny street, that's Isano, right? Isano Place in Bel Air Park. One of the few signs that I can show you to give you a reference to where we are. That's Isano Place in Bel Air Park. And this next street is the one we're interested in. This one is Barima. Right, it's Barima Avenue. So this is what is happening in Bel Air. Bel Air Park. So here we are at Barima Avenue. The sign says Barima Avenue in Bel Air Park. So what I want to do is to show you how Bel Air Park, and particularly Barima Avenue, is changing. Right, the last time we were here, some of these buildings were still being constructed, but more importantly, new buildings have been built. And I want to draw your attention to some of these. Morning. Some of the changes. Now, these are residential buildings, right? But what has happened in recent times is that some of the residences have been converted into commercial buildings. This one is a hotel. It's called Comfort Suites Apartments, right? Comfort Suites Apartments is over here. But over here, some people were asking about registering or opening new schools and universities in Guyana. Good morning. This is the National Accreditation Council located here on Barima Avenue, right? Barima Avenue in Bel Air Park. So if you wanted to open a new school or a new university, this Ministry of Education building is the one you'd have to visit and apply for accreditation. Right, so this is the National Accreditation Council of Guyana. They handle accreditation of all schools and universities in Guyana, and they're located here in Bel Air Park on Barima Avenue. This is the Ministry of Education annex. As I was saying, this is largely a residential neighborhood, but here is a government building, or the government has occupied these two buildings, I think, for the last 2 decades. Because remember, since I have a university, full disclosure, I am actually in the process of seeking accreditation with the National Accreditation Council. Every now and then, so for example, across the street, this is a new building that's being constructed, I think, in the last several, probably year or so, since the last time I visited this neighborhood, right in Bel Air Park, Barima Avenue. But across the street, morning, yeah man, across the street, you can see here is an empty building, right? This one probably has been empty for a couple of decades. We have, even in these exclusive neighborhoods, people who have migrated for for reasons, back in the 80s it used to be for economic reasons, but left and went to live in the UK or the US, and probably didn't leave caretakers for their homes. And now, morning, those buildings are actually being renovated, and that's the site of probably one of them that will be renovated soon. This is also another residence here in Bel Air. Park on Barima Avenue, another of those buildings. I don't think you can call them abandoned buildings, but they are residences that were once occupied by Bel Air residents who migrated to the US and to Canada and to the UK. Right, but this is what this neighborhood looks like. A lot of it is now being renovated, right? Because this has always been an exclusive neighborhood, but it's now being renovated to modern residences, and new buildings are replacing the ones that used to be, even back in the 1980s, some of the best housing stock in the city. And I just wanted to show you how that's happening, how that's changing. End of the street here, end of Barima Avenue, right? Now I'm going to show you at the start of the head of the street, close to Vlesinjan Road. You'll find that a lot of the construction is taking place there. So what they're doing is building multi-story either condominiums or single-family homes in this once exclusively residential single-family home neighborhood. And I want to show you how that's happening, how the transformation in housing is affecting this neighborhood. I think this one is called Republic Street. Those of you who know this neighborhood better than I do, can put in the comments below. But the point is that this once exclusive residential neighborhood is also being renovated to be with modern homes, to be perhaps even more exclusive. This lot, for example, is in preparation for construction. This one has been completed recently. And down at the end of the street, I can show you that there are a lot other buildings being constructed. This one, for example, is probably going to be reconstructed, rebuilt, perhaps even torn down, gutted and rebuilt shortly, because that is a trend, right? There's a high demand for housing, and any property that has the potential to become new housing is probably going to become new housing very quickly and very soon. But what's happening at the end of the street that is close to Vlesinjan Road is that on Barima Avenue, which is the street we're on, is that even regular houses, that is, houses that don't appear to need renovation, are being torn down and built back bigger. So you're getting much larger buildings being built to replace what were once some of the larger homes in the city, because back in the 1960s these were considered large homes, right? These were considered large homes back in the city, back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and now they're becoming even larger. Barima Avenue, we're on Barima Avenue. So those of you who are familiar with this neck of the woods, Bel Air Park, it's different from Bel Air Gardens and Bel Air Springs. Somebody's asking me about the difference on social media. Over by the seawall on the end of Sheriff Street, that's where you find Bel Air Gardens. And this section of the city between Plesinjan Road and Sheriff Street, near to the Botanical Gardens, end of the city, this is Bel Air Park. Bel Air Park. And these are the houses that were built in Bel Air Park back in the 1960s and 70s, in fact probably even earlier. And it was exclusively, so for example, it was exclusively a residential neighborhood, but now some commercial properties are moving in. I see the hotel. This is an insurance broker, right? An insurance company, and the National Accreditation Council. This one is for sale. So those of you who want to buy into this neighborhood, this one is for sale by, what's it, 20th century, 21st century. Right, Saskia Morgan, and that's a number to call. So some of these properties are also coming up for sale in Bel Air Park. This one is called Heavenly Gardens Plant Gallery. Over here, remember, these are all residential neighborhoods, residential homes built back in the 1960s but renovated recently, as recently as maybe 20 years ago. But now another wave of renovation is taking place. Now here at the end of the street, that is at the St. John Road end of the street, right at the St. John Road end of the street, there is a new wave of construction. So for example, this home, this is recently being built. The last time I was here, this had not been constructed, right? But this is new construction here in Bel Air Park. It seems like a condominium, multi-unit condominium complex with 4 balconies. You can see on the outside. In here, yeah, it's called a gimbal. So these are the new homes. Raphael Nation. Raphael Nation. Raphael Nation. So as you can see, these homes are being reconstructed and some new ones being built. This one, for example, new multi-story single-family home being constructed here on Barima Avenue. Right, Barima, there's a slight bend in the road here. I'm going to take a slight turn. This building and this location, I think, is Bounty Farms. They've always had, that's true, they've always had a building in this location where they processed meat. They did their meat processing over here. So this end of the street has not always been exclusively residential. Here is the Museum of African Heritage here at 13 Barima Avenue, right? The Museum of Museum of African Heritage. This is a new building, of course. This one, we just went past it. That is also new, freshly renovated. This one, I think, was constructed. Last time we were here, it was already constructed. Had already been constructed. Clearly, someone come back and built very secure fortress. This is a boutique, Michelle's boutique, but next door, as you can see, that is a new building that's being constructed. Right, that's multi-story, what appears to be single unit, maybe multi-unit, I don't know. Right, a single.
Hello.
Morning. It's nice. It's a nice building. So this one's also new. Right, this has not been. No, was not here the last time we were here. But like I said, this is on the other side. Bounty, right? This is Bounty Farms and their value for you. And at this end of the street is the new drive-through, Royal Castle drive-through. Right, this is the Royal Castle drive-through restaurant, a chicken place. But that's it, guys. That's Barima Avenue in 2024. I talked about this building, which also used to be a chicken place. Right, you go back to one of my earlier videos, I discussed what happened here. This was the original, this building with the bucket in the air was the original KFC. And now, of course, it's been abandoned. But over here, this is the Royal Castle, the new Royal Castle restaurant. So that's what's happening on Barima Avenue, guys. Barima Avenue being transformed with new houses, new developments in 2024. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening here in Georgetown, Guyana on Barima Avenue, the fastest growing country in the world. Later! That's for St. John Road. That's for St. John Road South, heading towards the gardens. That's the new KFC. New KFC restaurant. And the Rubis gas station. Like and subscribe. Later.